Oh shit, we're live! Welcome all! I was just having a little fun with the 8-bit running down a dream remix. Certainly the best song of the contest so far, so... Actually, how much? Oh, wrong thing. 396. I can actually afford something. Something that might make everything useful, and for that we actually have to go back near that room. I think it's here. Yes. Mapping technology. Yep. Thank you. Press special key to use. Awesome. Unfortunately, I can't get a map. Maybe it's because I'm in this room. Can I get a map of the hub? Yes, I can. And those flashing things must be doors. Cool. Alright, let's see what my counterpart has to say to me. He probably never says I'm doing a good job based on the tiers I completed, but that's base. Alright, so now we're off to tier 6. Oop, and already there's a quest. Music quiz. Oh boy. Alright. Oh, okay. Crap. I have no idea because I haven't come to this stage yet. No, that wasn't it. Alright. But I can still do this. Probably only levels that I've actually played, though. Yep, I think it's just levels that I've played. Oh. I think it's obvious what we play. Anyway. Nintega 59th place, Nintega 94. Taking a dip. Score 56.25. 69, 66, 40, 50. And let's go. Oh yeah. I'm actually in a simulation now. I'm gonna pay attention to what's going on the screen as opposed to what's next to me. Okay. Ah! There we go. I have a hunch I don't want to fall in the water. And I was right. Why can't I make that jump? There we go. weird seeing these as multiple platforms. I think they usually just... Oop. I think they're normally just used as one thing. That was easy enough. Ow! Damn it. Vertical scrolling. Whoop. I can't jump through. Damn. I think I would have preferred that weapon tank. Yeah, I only have 3 of them, so... You know what? Just to make that worth it. There, Rain Flush. Timer! Difficulty in you is completely... Oh, I can't see what that he's gonna give me. Oh, there we go. That would have been the same thing. Okay. Oh, okay. We're dealing with that now, huh? And now wave bubbles. Okay. Yeah, nuts to you. Ah. I will time these out correctly. Oh. I still refuse to get beat rescue, goddammit. I don't care how many times I die in pits. Jesus. Hopping around like a madman. Well, at least there was a checkpoint right there. I am playing so poorly. There we go. Okay. Nope. Nope. I love failing multiple times at parts that realistically aren't really that difficult. Boss fight? Nope. Now we're going underwater. Intro disc. Development obstacles and encountered. Blah 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 da 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 da. You know what? If this is the guy's first level, it actually is a fairly decent job. I have to give him that. Probably a lot better than I could do on my first time. I've got multiple ideas that I could do, but unfortunately, me and Game Maker really don't mix well. I'm more accustomed to RPG Maker myself, but... You know what? You did more of an effort than I've seen a lot of people do for their first time. Is that whose theme this is? Whirlpool Man? I'll admit, I actually stopped playing Megaman Unlimited before he released that character. I think I might have tried his stage once and didn't go back to it after I died. Again, I'm not the best Mega Man player in the world. You know, the only thing your level probably could have used without is this thing. I don't think you need to explain every little detail of making your level. A YouTube level, a YouTube video of your level, you probably could have explained all this in, but... or this could have been a side path that you could have put all this on. I'll go fight the boss now. Was this a bonus, that part area? Alright. I take it back. That was a bonus area. Megaman 8 music. Alright, I'm not gonna go down there. Okay, there was nothing down here. That was a nice stage. I enjoyed that. Especially for our first attempt, that was pretty good. Parmesan. Simply put, this is a solid level with some nice touches. This entire level has a nice flow to it. Generally, it just feels like well-paced and everything feels intentional. The varying speeds of the conveyors usually feels fine, but sometimes it doesn't. That's really where my main issue is. There's no real visual indicator for fast or slow conveyors. Maybe try making the different speeds different colors, or put enemies on them so you can see where the speed is drastically different. There are a few spots where this is an issue, but overall it's good. The level looks and sounds good, and it's generally fair. and at the one midpoint where there's a jump that's tricky but not in a fun way. Adjusting little things like that in an edit would be good. The level doesn't push the limits, but it's executed well. PK Ouija. Blue robot on conveyor going really fast. You did some really nice stuff here, though at times it felt a little too empty. I have to say though, the fast conveyors were really funny and so unexpected. Besides that, I really enjoyed the long platforming section over the bottomless pit. That was a nice challenge. As I said though, there were parts where not much was happening, sadly. To be fair though, that did help in not making it frustrating. So, yay? Jack. Usually judging requires me to guess what the level designer was thinking. Thankfully, this level's overly generous dev room spells out your thought process in lavish detail, which means I can point to exactly where you went wrong. As for the level itself, I had the classic introduce obstacles separately, then combine later mindset throughout the majority of the level. There's two problems with this, one minor and one major. The minor problem is that this classic mindset is anything but very few Robot Master stages actually introduce gimmicks separately and then merge them. When they do, it's usually on one identical screen towards the middle of the level, e.g. Sheepman, Windman, Plantman. This is a common misconception, albeit one that doesn't make for bad levels. Arguably, it's so common because it can make for fun levels when done right. The major problem here is that you've chosen to combine Uranus platforms with conveyor belts, when Uranus platforms are conveyor belts. They're skinned differently and they drag you down rather than left to right, but there's still just 16 by 16 tiles that will kick you off them unless you do a bunch of short jumps. You're not combining Gimmick A with Gimmick B, you're combining Gimmick A with Gimmick A. Much as I hate to say it, I think you inadvertently picked a double oil box. As for the rest of the level, you've correctly noted you were way too generous with pickups, even if we ignore the EW, MEW, MEME going on in the dev room. Even if we ignore that, there's a period right there. The three boss fights were fun, although the honey woman setup crashed the game for me when I hit her honey blob on a conveyor belt. Huh. There were 3 boss fights? Okay. I actually had more fun figuring out how to cheese the conveyor belt sections with Rush Coil than I did going through them legit. So, yeah. I think you succeeded in making a middle-of-the-road level. Hopefully with time and feedback, you can get out of the dead zone and middling entries and make something really great. Frames. There's a lot of design elements that don't really get consciously, yeah, I butchered that word, thought about while playing and making most levels. I feel like empty space is one of those things, at least when it comes to Megaman design, because that's pretty much the biggest problem with the level, the sheer amount of empty space. Clogging it with enemies wouldn't really have solved the problem, because it doesn't really help everything stop being so big and empty, especially when the stage goes underwater. The lack of any real ceiling just lets you cruise over whatever you want, and the enemy placement is so scarce you hardly think about it. That said, for a first real go around at a level, it certainly isn't a bad showing. It just doesn't really manage to find anything to make it stick out. There were some incredibly speedy conveyor belts which just ended up being confusing due to the lack of indication that you're about to zoom to the other side of the screen, and that's probably for the best that they hardly appeared in any actual threatening capacity. And yet, I wonder if there was a better way to convey speed, if new ideas could have helped spice things up. All in all, When one has 48 hours to come up with a breathtaking idea, I understand it's far easier said than done. At the very least, it's a good lesson to take forward when you are not dealing with a tight time limit. I probably enjoyed this level more than the judges, at least on one playthrough. I thought it was a very well done first attempt at a stage, and I don't think you would consider Uranus platforms conveyor belts, per se. They're more like sinking belts. If you would consider quicksand than a conveyor belt, but that's just my opinion. You have entered the ship's ballroom. If you are new here, look for the dance tutors. All about dance in 5 simple steps. There better be a dance button. Say it's a new dance they've never heard of until now. You usually tell them it's the Humpty Dance. 78th place, Zealdak, Commando Caverns. Score 5650. 49, 61, 41, 75. Zealdak is another name I recognize. Unfortunately, it's for Joe Man, but... Ah! I butchered that one. I really need to play Mega Man 10 more. I think I've played it once, beat it, and then never touched it again. I say that because I'm pretty sure that this is Commando Man's theme. Let's go down the ladder. Let's go up the ladder. And let's jump down like an idiot. That's gonna go up, isn't it? Nope, it's gonna go left to right. Slide, stupid. Can I jump through those? Ah! Well, that happened. Fine, we'll do that. Alright. There you go. That's how that's done. Ah, these frickin' things. Okay, that's not a platform. Oh, damn. That's a really confusing background. I mean, it looks pretty, but those really come across as platforms. Oh. What are you going to do? Okay. Nope, can't go that way. Going up. Oh, okay. Yep. The only way to do that without resorting to special weapons is to only take out that first platform. Probably want to be over here, actually. Yep. And just drop down on the spike. Nice job. And we're all the way back here. Actually, now that I think about it, we didn't really go far, did we? That's how you do it, Buster only. Come on. Okay. Not a fan of stages that do force weapon usage. Oh, wait a second. I think I could have ridden a bubble over those things. And Commando Man. This is going to be interesting, because I have not fought you in years. Yep. That ended exactly the way I figured it was going to. Just stand there and watch the bullet. I was gonna say, I know Commando Man's not that difficult. It's showtime. Box Cartel member Blocky on the scene. Hang on one second. Sorry, I'm doing something real quick. Okay. Base chump. Oh, I'm gonna have to do a boss fight here in a minute. Parmesan. This level is okay, but it has some things that need adjusting. Number one, biggest issue is the backgrounds in the cave. The background looks like foreground, and it kept messing with me. It really is hard to tell what's going on. I expected to fall when I touched the background waterfall, and the top of the waterfall looks like a solid. It looks good, but it harms functionality. Otherwise, there are some segments where it seems like you have to use rush to get through, but not in a particularly creative way. I don't hate this, it's just weird and feels awkward. Overall, the level isn't bad, but the testing seems lacking, making it feel awkward and incomplete. Good try, though. PK Ouija. Well, that was certainly clever. Using the ball machine enemies as your way to go forward is definitely something I haven't seen before. Those parts fall a bit apart, though. If you have to do them over and over again because of the section afterwards. Now, don't get me wrong, using the bubble as a shield from the spikes is clever. Figured that out a little late. Even if it's cryptic. The problem is the part right before the boss door. It's outright mean, with the bubble being a straight-up death sentence, and since it's at the end of the level, it's extra brutal. M-Jack. Here's a really good example of how aesthetics is about conveyance first and beauty second, because this level has tons of moments where the nice graphics do nothing to explain how the level works, and to its detriment. Take the Conroe platforms, for instance. What direction do they move, and how far do they go? At first I thought that maybe they were color-coded, and I was just missed it, but no, it's just a guessing game. You also have the distracting waterfalls on platforms background that tricks the player into thinking there are blocks where there aren't. And the last stretch of the level requires weapon use, but there's absolutely no indication that it requires weapon use, so I spent a couple minutes trying to ride a LEC bubble over a mine and a spike pit, which went as well as it sounds. So that's not the way? Actually, that last stretch of the level is bizarre. It's impossible buster only, but if it was meant as a rush jet section, it poses no challenge whatsoever. The highlight of this level, I guess, is the segment with the gachapons, which is kind of clever and definitely a creative fusion of your assets. The problem is that I mostly spent these sections remembering how fun this gimmick was when it was in Hornet Man stage, and how clunky this imitation of it is. Especially because you also have to contend with the endless wave of Crazy Razies while you're waiting for the gachapon to slowly shoot out an arcing shot that will maybe hit a block you need it to hit. Provided that you're standing in a centimeter away from the Crazy Razy spawn point. But eventually, I got the hang of that, and I sort of enjoyed it, maybe. I think this would be a much better level with some minor aesthetic tweaks, adding rails on the background of the Conroe platforms, some minor gameplay tweaks, cool it with the Crazy Razies, and a complete overhaul of the final stretch. Frames. There were a lot of unique things going on with the level, and a lot of solid ideas taking place. I liked how a number of the enemies were used. The gumball machines even had a purpose in the second half. I liked how the moving platforms worked in the first half, and there were some nice challenges with that, and there were some well thought out ideas with the mines. However, for every good idea going on here, there was just some aspect that kinda soured it. Infinite spawning Crazy Razies does not make a section where you have to wait for a gumball machine to do its attack that will actually destroy the mines that fun. I often thought that background piece of waterfall falling from on the rock was in the foreground due to the coloring being so similar to what I'm standing on. And there were some issues with conveyance at points. The very first introduction of the moving platform wasn't great, because I played the classic idiot gamer card, literally forgot that what these platforms did, and thought they were the Pluto ones. So that didn't end well for me. It's not a big deal, but having the very first platform not be over spikes goes a long way for teaching someone what's going on. Also, the ending kinda dipped down because I had no idea that the bubble would protect me from spikes, and while it was a unique way to get that enemy involved, I would have just assumed it was a rush jet section if it wasn't my job to investigate these things. I feel like something that managed to somehow combine the mines and platforms together instead of a surprise get in the bubble, something you've definitely been taught to avoid up to this point, section would have ended on a much higher note. But gripes aside, the level did manage to be a pretty good time. I have mixed feelings on this level. There were definitely some, what they were saying, conveyance issues with a lot of the aesthetics in the place. I did not like those waterfall backgrounds because it made it seem like you could jump on the rocks that the waterfalls were hitting. And that's just bad design, to be honest with you. Yep. There's the boss door. Okay. Let's go fight this guy. I just noticed his eyebrows. Knock that off. Oh. How are you gonna stack up? Uh-oh. That was a fight. Don't know what to say about that one. 57th place, Cheese. Curious Sky Machine. Score 56.75. 54, 76, 45, 52. Wonder if that's Cheese 8 from Megaman 1. Ooh. And this is Metropolis Zone. I'm one of those few people that actually enjoy Metropolis Zone. If nothing else, for the music. Are we on Death Egg now? I ain't dealing with those seals. That's annoying. Damn it. Ah! Oh, come on! And it had me bouncing on the cloud so I couldn't jump. There we go. Don't jump on the first one this time. There we go. There we go. I probably should have gone up there. Yep, definitely should have gone up there. Aww! Okay, that was funny. Took my E-tank away. What on earth am I doing here? Okay. Now. There we go. Oh, I see what they did. Are we doing that gimmick now? Yes, we are. Stand right there. Yes. But I have to get the key. There we go. Woo! Okay, good. They're not instant death. Huh. Beat. Nope. Okay, good. I can reset it. And slide. Good job. Oh. Now I gotta remember where the spikes are. Should have used an E-tank. Good job. Oops. There we go. Da, 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 da. This level does have some creative ideas. These seals are not one of them. They are quite obnoxious. There we go. And what on earth are you? Checkpoint? No? Oh no! There. Oh my god. Oh! Something tells me there was a secondary path I could have taken somewhere. Parmesan. I can't say that I had much fun with this level. Two major things about it brought me down. One, the checkpoints. They aren't aggressively awful, but they are far enough apart that the first couple of screens of every section got boring from doing them over and over. And I just felt like I needed to practice the last few screens. 2. So much of the level has awkward jumps. Jumps that don't feel like the major challenge, but just are frustrating enough to send you back to the checkpoint over and over. To go along with this, a lot of the level was instant death, based as so many enemies are just there to knock you off platforms. Otherwise, the parts with the super fast generating clouds are really cool, and honestly, the highlight of the level. The mid-boss that shot rocks onto the clouds and changed where it landed was a really good use of that. The level sure isn't awful, but it really didn't have a lot of fun playing it due to the repetitiveness and the stupid deaths. PK Ouija. I quite enjoyed this one. It supplied a lot of fun and creative platforming challenges, combining its two main gimmicks together very well. I especially liked how the clouds were used to make a dense fog to hide away spikes. The beginning part was also really cool, how you rose up to the sky machine and the sky got darker. That also served as a separation point between tutorial and actual level, which was a neat way of handling it. Overall, solid work. MJack. Most of this level's problems boil down to poor usage of the cloud platforms. The segments where they're spammed to the point where you can't see what's behind them and have to remember where behind the fog of platforms the spikes are, well, that's kind of clever, but not very fun. The rest of the level, however, falters by seemingly failing to take their horizontal movement into account, meaning you'll often miss jumps or get directed into a Hotchkisson's line of fire unless you're lucky. The level hits its nadir with the mid-boss fight, where getting hit gives you a random chance of being knocked off a platform and into a pit, then having to waste a minute getting back to that point. In general, I feel this level felt checkpoint light, even though strictly speaking, it observed standard screen counts. I think that's a consequence of how much of the level, especially in the second half, is over instant death. Honestly, the best thing about the level is probably the cutscene towards the beginning. That was cute. I did like the idea that you're taking a trip into the sky and onto some cool rocket ship thing. Only problem is, the level itself didn't really deliver on that promise. It might have been cool if you'd held off slightly on plunging the player into the sky and had an airship aesthetic on what would then become the second half of the level. Certainly truer to the level's name. Freems. What a strange level. The first chunk introduced its gimmicks well enough, if not a little cut and dry, but once you get to what I presume is the Sky Machine, things get weird. Most challenges become surprisingly ignorable or easily exploited. A set of 3 concrete platforms to grab a key, but really only the bottom one is required at all. Did not know that. Or just bizarre. A section with nothing much more than 3 up-moving concrete blocks, already at the top of the screen with no other obstacles. And when there was actual platforming challenge, such as some Snake Man cloud platforming, there was at least one incident where the concrete blocks ahead of me just refused to spawn on one playthrough. But when I died, it spawned just fine. The usage of keys was also surprisingly pointless. There might have been one jump where the arc to get the key was important, but usually it was just a quick and mindless detour. And while it was a creative idea to create a never-ending barrage of clouds, using them to hide spikes, insta-death or no, is pretty lame no matter which way you slice it. As an aside, while including your gimmick in your boss fight isn't bad on paper, having it pretty much boil down to these parts of the boss room are unusable to you doesn't make fighting any boss more fun. Really, you nailed the title. It sure is curious. Definitely a level that could become so much more with more fine-tuning and testing. Yeah, this level... I don't know. I'm going to need to do a couple more playthroughs to get a better idea of this level. But on a whole, I did find a lot of the platforming frustrating, and the checkpoint placement was definitely... Again, you're playing a game with infinite lives. You don't need to go through the Mega Man rule of 2 checkpoints per level. You can throw checkpoints all over the place if you want. If you want to do a checkpoint after 1 pit, you can. Probably wouldn't be fun, but you could. Oh, I can talk to this thing, really. I'm dancing. Yay! Suffice to say, I don't know a thing about dancing. 56th place, Diamond Wolf, Orbital Assault. Score 57. 68, 62, 57, 41. Huh. It's not low gravity, but I feel like my jump height is a lot higher in this stage. That's not worth it. There you go. You know what? Let me try something. Oh, I can't get back up there. You know what? My curiosity is gonna get the better of me. If Rush Coil wants to work with me, here we go. YOLO. Yep, okay. I don't know, with the M-Tank on the spikes and then that curious platform just hovering over those ones. I thought maybe there was a gimmick with the spikes, but they weren't actually spikes at all. I don't know. Going down. Let's smack your face right into the grenade. Oh, Yoko. Yuko. Yoku. There you go. Oh, okay, we're doing that now. Oh, these things are not making that boss fun. And this also does not look like a fun room. But we made it. Alright. I think I have it. I'll take it. Wait. That thing fall off? I'll have to look back at the footage, but that really looks like it glitched. Run! Oh. Really? Oh. That's bad. I was having fun with this level until this point. What the hell was the guy thinking here? I can't even get to that part over there. I'm sure there's a way. Not that time, though. That's just the Yasichi. And a trap. Commando Man again. Okay. What a strange boss to have in this level. Oh, why am I having such a hard time with Commando Man? I think the smaller room's also throwing me off. What's my... Oh, Christ. Alright. Let's see if the judges had the same issue I had with the end of the level. Parmesan. I'm sort of mixed on this level. The Yoku blocks are done extremely tastefully, and the Yoku spikes being a part of the general formation instead of a completely separate type of obstacle was really great. The elect blocks were a mix of pretty good and frustrating, but mostly because of the large vertical section means you had to redo a long section. It's the same thing I find frustrating about the Elect Man stage. Also, putting a checkpoint before a fairly long section is just a terrible choice. I didn't mind the mid-boss, but I didn't need to fight it over and over because of having issues with the other parts of the level. Just another checkpoint or two would make this level way more fun to play. These small things may seem like quality of life changes, but they greatly impact the level as a whole. The challenges in the other rooms should be a little easier to account for this, or just make the penalty way less severe. This might be controversial, but I loved the spike drop at the end. It was super clever, even if it was super hard to do it on your first try. It doesn't send you back too far, so it wasn't a problem. Overall, I loved parts of this level, but as a whole, it becomes frustrating for me. PK Ouija. Ah, the dreaded Yoku block level. I have to give you credit, because the low gravity did reduce the frustration of the whole thing a lot, as weird as that may sound. That also means you can cheese a few screens by just jumping to the ladder and ignoring some challenges. But hey, what can you do? One part I wasn't a big fan of was the spike drop at the end. While it was a neat idea, it seemed to rely more on gotcha moments and a trial and error than anything else. Or my brain is just slow. That's not out of the question yet. Stumbling over PK's jokes, I am sorry. M-Jack. This level had some real stumbling points, most of which are screens where you have to make decisions despite not having all the facts. The vertical section at the start of the level is full of leaps of faith, for instance, where you have to go down despite not knowing what's beneath you. The longer horizontal Yoku sections are similarly awkward. Spike drops inherently have a leap of faith aspect to them because they give you so little time to react, but the Yoku spike drop in this level is even more gratuitous in this respect, because you can't see the direction you have to move during the screen transition, giving you even less reaction time. That section, which thankfully has a checkpoint right before it, is almost entirely random chance. How does the rest of the level fare, though? Alright, I suppose. Some of the enemy use felt a little excessive here, such as the extended dash-on ladder section, which gave me serious Megaman Unlimited vibes. And it's pretty clear that you weren't sure how to use the Yoku spikes, as they're negligible in one section and used as regular spikes in the other. I think the level could have removed them entirely and been better for it. Despite all this criticism, I didn't hate the level at all. It's actually kind of fun, provided you like Yoku blocks, or rather, don't hate Yoku blocks, when they're used well. I thought that the walking bombs were very extra, but in a good way. That kept me on my toes. In general, I think this level is a nice mix of more cerebral sections that require quick reactions, and that it never felt monotonous or boring. It's also a level that, Yoku spikes aside, is difficult without relying on instant death, which I greatly appreciate. There are some super obvious spots for improvement, but all things considered, I definitely enjoyed this level. Frames. See, there were sprinkles of interesting ideas here and there, but a lot of the level ends up suffering. The very first Yoku block section tried to do something cool with having a whole formation be part of the pattern. But then that just never happened ever again, and every other Yoku block section was the same generic stuff we're used to. Having a checkpoint be right before the slightly more tedious than usual mid-boss also just makes everything that much more of a chore. But you know, I can forgive all of that if it wasn't for the absolutely terrible last section. Spike drops are stupid as is, but now it's a Yoku spike drop? You see, when you have the spike drop, the only reason it's even somewhat tolerable, usually, is because the screen transition gives you time to react about what's about to happen. But now, that you've introduced spikes showing up halfway through the screen, you've created a spike drop that's not about reaction time, but about trial and error, as to pretty much have to die to the spikes in each room to know where the safe spot is, or get lucky. And let me tell you, that is not a way to end your level. Yeah, this level had a really bad ending to it. And I think that's what this level will likely be mostly remembered for. Because after all of what happened on my first playthrough, all I remember is that ending Yoku. All that Yoku spike drop section. And that's not good. It's not good if that's all your level is remembered for. Don't know what to dance, try one of these. Quadrille, Hopak, Tango, Mumbo, Square Dance. But I can't even pronounce half of those. Oh Christ, Jesus. 55th place, Crash, Seahorse City. Score 51.25. 80, 48, 50, 51. Well, somebody put this in the 6th tier. Let's see if I agree with them. I know it's a Megaman X song. Oh, no shit. I'm going to guess it's Toxic Seahorse, just because of the... Oh, Jesus. Just because of the name of the level. That was a bad idea. Yep. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure Crush is the guy responsible for Neon Man. So good of him that he has a darkness gimmick. Alright, so it's a darkness gimmick that does eventually turn back on the lights. What the hell are you? Really? Oh, it's a big eye. It's a big eye that has its tails. Okay. Oh, you're not coming back, are you? Oh. what do I have to do here? There we go. Eddie! Fuck you, Eddie. Yep, big eyes are still not fun, even if they're reskinned. Oh, come on. Are you serious right now? Boss fight? Give me something good, Eddie. Alright, I suppose that was good. Good thing Darkman's a cinch. That is definitely not worth an 80. But then again, I fault the gimmicks. I'm not a big fan of that oil. So, Parmesan. Woo! This level really shows the issue of the box system. You got a really awful gimmick. I don't think this is a great box, but you made it work. PU oil gets obnoxious super fast, but throughout this whole level, I never felt like it was used unfairly. When mixing it with the Big Eye, it was a threatening challenge, but still in the realm of reasonable. Also, putting more focus on mixing the dark gimmick with the oil rather than mixing the oil with the needles was a good choice. They go much better together. Your checkpoint placement was also on point. Woo! I'm missing something. PK Ouija. Toxic Seahorse. Woo! Okay, now that that is out of the way, I didn't like this level. Pairing darkness with the annoying powered up oil spells annoying. The oil in itself is already tedious, even more so in this engine compared to powered up, since falling on your butt pushes you back here. Granted, you pretty much always put something in place to let me see where a pit was, but my brain is the size of a pea, and if I kill an enemy, I may not remember it anymore. But that's my own problem. All in all, I can say, woo! There's a meme I am missing that I don't know. I will probably have to look it up after I finish playing this. M-Jack. Here we have a level that provides an elegant answer to a wrong question. Yes, it's very cool that there's all sorts of ways for the player to figure out where the platform's edges are when the level is thrust into darkness, loose oil, enemies walking back and forth, etc. this level doesn't have problems when it comes to conveying where to go, even in total darkness. The real problem is, instead of asking, how do I make the level layout visible when the stage goes dark, you should have answered the real question, why does the stage go dark? I mean, we're outdoors with a full moon in the background. Why do we need Dompan to brighten up the space when there's a perfectly good light source just chilling there in the sky? That's the problem with this level. I just don't think the central gimmick is justified. The other problem with the darkness in this level is that despite all of the enemies put there to illuminate your path, there's still no way to figure out where the ladders are in the level without just groping in the dark. But again, that just makes me wonder why the darkness gimmick was needed to be here in the first place. Maybe if you had Wonton present to go along with the Dompan, it'd make more sense? I'm skeptical. Still, I gotta hand it to you, this level gets an A in conveyance. It just suffers elsewhere. Freems. I'm so interested in why so much of this level was in the dark. I suppose a part of that has to do with the inclusion of Dompan, but more dark rooms than not don't even rely on Dompan's inclusions. Instead, using other enemies or the other gimmicks as a way to tell where the ground is, which is alright. It's just strange to me that the darkness felt more prominent than any of the other box gimmicks. And the enemy tied to the darkness gimmick in the first place wasn't even around most of the time. Now that I'm done playing 48 Hour Police, let's look at the rest. The Big Eye Resprite was cute, and despite how weird the whole darkness thing felt, it was never awful. I do feel like there were a few times where there wasn't enough telegraphing where the ground was located, and the level would just plop you in a dark room, give you a brief 2-second flash of light as you enter and say, "Go nuts." A few more indicators of where to go, or more creative use of Dompan so turning back on the lights is a bit of a challenge, could have done the trick, but overall, it certainly wasn't a bad time. Honestly, the only thing I really didn't like about this level was the oil, but it's oil. It's one of the worst gimmicks probably in the entire dev kit. So, had to make you, and he had to use it, so he used it. I will give him credit, he used it in a relatively creative way as a way to see where the platforms were in the dark, but it was still oil. Not his fault. 54th place, Spade Magnus. Combustible Alien Variable Events. Cave. Score, 57-75. 40, 72, 74, 45. This is gonna be a love it or hate it level. Napalm Man. Okay. Oh, okay, there you go. Good move, Keith. Aw. Yeah. I see that UFO down there. Okay. And okay. And just walk off the platform. Nice job. Oh, damn it. I realized what I did before it was too late. Or after it was too late. Nope. There you go. Sloppy, but I did it. Facing the wrong direction. Good job. There's another one of them UFOs. Again, copter mets. Just not good with dealing with them. Alright, now that's one key I can safely say what's the point of it. It has been a long time since my last checkpoint. That's... oh, thank God. Whew! That really had me nervous. Oh, Christ, what am I supposed to do here? Ugh! That's not what I was supposed to do. That's a really obnoxious jump for too short of a time. Wait. Alright, that was on me. Alright, so spikes aren't instant death in this level. What is with the background characters? Is there a purpose to you? No? Nope. If I do this a little quicker. Nope. Oh, what do I do here? Okay. I think I got it. Okay. That was easy enough. No Napalm Man in this engine, sadly. Aww. Oh, no! This is not a boss you want with this type of battlefield. Stop jumping, Jesus. Ah! Oh, for fuck's sake. I'll give it this. It made Dustman hard. But that was a super obnoxious Dustman fight. Parmesan. This level isn't terrible, but I do genuinely dislike and to hate almost every asset in here. Even then, you only use them okay. The falling rocks could be more obnoxious, but they're also not used super well. Like, I really want to say something overly negative or positive, but really, this level is pretty average with bad gimmicks. The design is just fine. It looks okay, it feels okay, and it just isn't fun in the end. PK Ouija. Really cool count bomb challenges that were unfortunately interrupted by seemingly arbitrary sections, full of those falling rocks and UFOs. If the stage were more of the count bombs, I would have enjoyed it far more, I imagine. As is, though, the other sections feel way too spammy at times, which brought the good sections to a bit of a halt. MJack. Even if this level was terrible otherwise, I think it'd still get high marks from me anyway, just based on the way you took Drillman boulders, aka one of the single worst gimmicks in all of Mega Man, and made them not just tolerable, but fun. Rather than just use them as crystal droppers with debris, you used them as obstacles that have to be shot down on tight cycles to progress, which is awesome. The rooms with Drillman boulders are the best parts of the level, if you ask me. This is one of the many levels in this contest which belong to what I jokingly call the Steve Reich School of Level Design, where you have two or more obstacles on the same screen running on cycles that don't quite sync up, and you have to find the overlap between their blind spots. But when this level does it, I think it does it well, because the atom skis move horizontally and the boulders move vertically, and there's real level geometry to contend with. You weren't quite as successful with the count bombs. The puzzly setups where you could backtrack and respawn the count bombs were neat. The lots of count bombs over a bottomless pit sections, not so much. It's hard to fault you for those though. Level designers, myself included, love count bomb runs because they're fun to make and have lots of knobs you can play with. But they all blend together on the player end because all they're too busy dreading the bottomless pit they're trying not to fall into to appreciate your clever obstacle placement. I really like this level though. Frames. This one felt a little rough. The level kinda went back and forth between stretches of nothing but count bombs and puzzles that doesn't seem to follow any real difficulty curve. And the UFOs certainly don't help matters. I guess I see the idea behind a lot of count bombs, and you have to find your way through it. But when most of them are over bottomless pits, it doesn't quite give you the time to think. And the last one was the safest one of them all, for some reason. That, and while I guess it's something that can work on paper, it's really not fun in execution. It really didn't do anything terrible, but it's not something I would call fun level. I enjoyed some of the count bomb puzzles that were laid out in this level, but yeah, on a whole, I don't think I enjoyed that level too much. The boulders are another gimmick, unfortunately, that is really hard to pull off. I mean, you take a level that was one of my favorites in Megaman 2, Gutsman's Asteroid, and it uses the boulders and debris, but it's easily the worst part of the level. Not a fault on the level designer. Everything else about the level is amazing, but yeah, and unfortunately in that level's case, everything else wasn't completely amazing, mind-blowingly great, but it was pretty much just there. But like I said, I like the count bomb puzzles. So, 53rd place, The Retro Dude, Void Quest. Score 58, 68, 72, 46, 46. Ah, Flash in the Dark. I had this as my ringtone. Smack yourself right in the face. I had this as my ringtone one time. Really annoyed my coworkers when I would be playing music. This would just go off and ruin whatever song was actually playing. Hey, if they don't appreciate 8-bit greatness, it's on them. Actually, this was not Flash in the Dark. This is Proto Man's castle. How did I mix those two up? This is still a great theme, by the way. Oh, so that story doesn't apply to this at all. Where are we going with this? Oh. You're not a mid-boss. You are, however. I'm using my old controller, the Super NES one I bought. For some reason, the directional pad wasn't working. I could move my character with the analog stick, but I am not playing this game with an analog stick. God, these enemies are just time wasters. Oh! Nothing to say about that. That was just dumb. And Plant Man. Okay. Alright. That was a level. Parmesan. This level isn't bad, but it's not great. I like the use of the Galaxy Man portals, especially how you mix them with the Plant Man platforms. The room with the key got a bit overwhelming and felt just a tad too hard. Everything could use some improvement. PK Ouija. There's not much to say about this stage. It's designed well and uses its gimmicks in neat ways. The Benkeis are used a bit too frequently for my liking, considering their bulk and defensive capabilities. This becomes most apparent in the key room, where you are put up against quite an army of them. It's all manageable, but it's a bit draining. Also, put in a background, why don't you? Black is a boring background. MJack. With a title like Void Quest and the Plant Man platforms and Galaxy portals in your box, I was worried I'd be in for yet another set of arbitrary gimmick platforms situated over yet another arbitrary abyss. I'm thankful I did not get that. Can't say I'm very enthused with the level I did get, though. The 3 enemies you rolled are all pretty beefy, and everything seems to take one too many hits. Thank God for charge shots, but even that doesn't help you deal with Benkei. Our boy Benjamin is already a real pain to deal with on its own. A room where I have to deal with 8 of them is a buzzkill. This level also doesn't seem to take into account that you can be hit with projectiles while you're stuck in the galaxy portal. It's frustrating getting hit by cannon fire, but it's especially frustrating getting hit while you're a lame duck. The room where there's no floor other than galaxy platforms, so you keep bouncing up and down trying to dodge Ben's fire, is a real pain in the butt too. I guess I got lucky with that because he kept turning around to try to hit me and giving me his blind spot for the most part. Not the nightmare scenario I was imagining, but still plenty of room for improvement. Freems. The real void quest is trying to fill the void that are my thoughts. I certainly prefer a level that plays it super safe to a level that actively trying to make me have a horrible time. But it's always so difficult to talk about it afterwards. There were a handful of creative setups, bouncing between the teleporters to defeat a shielded enemy, and a room that's the same on top and bottom. But the latter especially didn't really accomplish anything. It was there, but nothing really interesting was done with it. The rest of the level was just sorta bland and standard Plantman platform sections, with every once in a blue moon a surprise shoot one as to pop out of a teleporter. As you pop out of the teleporter. Yeah, I can read. Which, while a good idea, can be a nasty surprise if you have poor reaction time. Yeah, I think I pretty much said my piece on this level. I think I need to play it a few times to get a good feel of it, but yeah, the amount of man enemies, which apparently are called Benkeis, are annoying no matter how you use them, so... Impression. If you see a discovered dancer, it's probably the janitor. Leave him alone. Oh, no, F's. Oh. Oh, wait a second. Okay. I think I messed up that conga line. 52nd place, Dippy, Wiley Station. Score 58.25. 74, 58, 59, 42. This is my first level to any Magmail contest, so I hope it's at least not terrible. All these people saying it's their first level. Just make the level and make it to the best of your abilities. I mean, to be honest, starting on a 48-hour level contest probably wasn't the best idea, but hey, there will always be more contests. Well, maybe not, but considering how long Magmail 3 is taking. But 171 entries is... yeah, quite the thing. You are nothing without your floor. You are in an awkward position. There you go. Ah! Damn it. No. You need to go. YOLO! If you're gonna base a level off of a weapon, you need to give that weapon infinite energy. That thing respawning is also not good. Yeah. Thank God there was a checkpoint right there. A poorly placed checkpoint, but a checkpoint nevertheless. I think you broke your dive mets. More concrete shot. Oh my God, this shit again. I don't think I can actually land on that platform. I don't like using weapon energy to get through a stage, but... No. Now Yoku blocks. Well, I wanted to get through this tier tonight, but unfortunately I think I'm gonna have to go to bed after this level. I know I only have 2 levels left, but... Oh, are you gonna do what I think? Okay, good, never mind. Two random mid-bosses before a boss fight. That's this thing again. Alright, this has to be the default boss music of the game, because... this is like the 5th or 6th boss that has actually used this theme. Ah, boy. Did not like that one. Parmesan. For our first level, good job. When you use the Wily Ford laser in the Gyroman platforms, I really do think the level excels. While it is possible to run out of concrete shot ammo, it's honestly fairly forgiving and was never an issue when I played the stage. The amount of weapon energy to make this doable is good. If you wanted to keep the level feeling smooth, but add an extra energy, you could force certain enemies to drop them. That would be a nice touch, but it's far from necessary. The Gyroman platforms mixed with the Yoku blocks worked, although the rising section felt out of place and disjointed, especially in the context of this contest. Otherwise, the enemy variety mostly worked, as you really filled in holes in what enemy types you lacked. It was a bit odd to use both Coltons and Hammer Joes, as they essentially fill the same role. These criticisms don't make the level bad, but they are ways in which the level could have been better. Good job on your first level. PK Ouija. It's not bad, just a tad unfocused. Although the main concern I have is that the concrete shot is required to get past the lasers, so giving unlimited weapon energy may have been a better choice. But then again, that could have made enemy challenges trivial. But then again, the stage could have been built around Concrete Shot more. Am I rambling? Maybe. The Yoku block challenges were fine, and they did pick up in difficulty and complexity a bit as they went on, so good job there. One thing I felt odd was having the Hippo mid-boss on flat ground. That made him useless, as you can just shoot and he dies without being able to attack. But that's a nitpick. Overall, it was fun, and for our first level, it was a good start. Keep at it. M-Jack. Oh man, how much better would this level have been with infinite Concrete Shot ammo? To misquote Sam Jackson, I recognize that Megaman 9 Capcom decided to have the Wily 4 lasers without infinite ammo, but it was a stupid-ass decision, and you should have elected to ignore it, or at the very least, held some way to farm energy off tellies, because large parts of the level would have been more fun if you had access to infinite Concrete Shot. There's a 4-tile jump in one part of the level, for instance, that strictly speaking can be done without Concrete Shot, but it's way more fun if you use it. And there certainly could have been some sadistic setups with the lasers used in concert with the Yoku blocks. Good sadistic setups, I mean. It would have given this level a bit more of an identity, as right now there's not much of a theme to it beyond generic Wily Fortress. Like a lot of levels in this contest, this one struggled to put enemies in spaces where they were relevant but not unfair. I got jumped by the Big Eye variant from Mega Man 9, placed a little too close to the edge of the platform, for instance. But other than that, most of the enemies pushed little if any threat. Even the Hippo mini-boss could be killed by just mashing X. Luckily, the platforming in this level made up for that, in my opinion. Not too challenging, but it felt good to pull off those mad dashes on the gyro blocks. And for the most part, they avoid unfair gotcha moments, with every screen giving you a safe space to figure out what you have to do. So the base of this level is pretty solid. It's just got a bunch of little flaws that could be fixed, and it could probably use some sort of overarching theme to make the challenges feel more cohesive. Oh, and one minor but interesting flaw with this level that bears mention, it had a couple instances with screen transitions that should have been one-way were two-way instead, meaning you could accidentally backtrack and faceplant into an enemy, as I did with the aforementioned Not a Big Eye. That was also bad, especially the checkpoint placement where that room was, but I'll digress. This level was just so Freems. Gotta let people know who's saying this. This level was just incredibly unfocused. Every other screen there'd be a new gimmick thrown at you, then completely forgotten. Here's a gravity well. Here's some water. Here's some Yoku blocks. It just made the whole thing feel so segmented and strange. And the stretches without any of these gimmick of the days were more or less just boring straightaways with a bunch of enemies, some from the box, others just seemingly picked at random, that just kinda stand to get shot by you and for the most part serve no threat whatsoever. Excuse me. The lasers appear a number of times, but there's never a clever use of them besides use Concrete Shot, and if you run out of ammo by some chance, then uh-oh. It doesn't help that there are a handful of jumps are surprisingly tight and weirdly difficult to make. It's just one of those cases where you should have focused a lot more on the box elements you were given and expanding on them, rather than just doing a little taste of so many different things. I didn't enjoy this one. And the biggest issue with it I had was it didn't give Concrete Shot infinite ammo. I understand that would have trivialized a lot of the enemies in the stage, that aforementioned not a big eye, for instance, would have been slaughtered by it, I'm assuming. But it made a lot of the jumps so obnoxious, especially that 4-tile jump that I could not clear for the life of me without using a concrete block on the wall, which I'm assuming was the intended method. And then used another concrete block to block the laser. You have to do that precise and hit each of those segments. And yeah, I wasted 2 weapon tanks just trying to clear that one area. That's not fun. Solid effort on some of the ideas, especially given this was your first level, the first level that he did. But yeah, I guess I'm kind of in the minority and just didn't enjoy it. And with that, yeah, I think we're going to call it for today. I really wanted to get done with this tier before the end of the day, but yeah, unfortunately real life has to call and I need to actually get up early tomorrow and go to work. So, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you next time.